Okay, so we have this problem right here, PS7, and it goes into IMDb and has these different movie titles. So the 8 is the number of reviews that the movie has. The 4.5, sorry, the 4.5 is the rating the movie got, and then the last part is the title. So you have a file, ratings.tsv, that has all of these movies in it. Did anybody have any problems with their ratings.tsv file? Okay, so I'm gonna assume no, but if you do, I made a text version of the file that fixed like the tab spacing. I think when some people downloaded it on their computer, it like messes up the tab spacing. So if you need that, just let me know. And then, so the purpose of the program is to go through the movies and find the top M highest rated movies that have at least K ratings. So for an example that had 50,008, every single one of the movies we print would have to have at least 50,000 reviews. And then we want the top 8 rated movies. And if you notice in this session, it happens in a while loop, which is already given to you in the starter code. But you have to keep printing out the top movies until the user puts 00. So first we put 50,008 and it would print the top 8. And then the user would get to input more information. And then it continues until the user puts 00 and then it would stop. Any questions on what the homework is asking for? Okay. Let me go to Vocariant. So let's just look at some of the code that he gives us to start with. So we have max heap.java, which is already given to you. So he wants us to use a heap, max heap or min heap for this problem. So he already gives you the implementation of the class. You just have to use the data structure. So if we look at this, we have insert, and in insert that would add to our heap, and then the sift up part would bring it to the correct part of the heap. So a max heap has to be in order. So it would insert it to the end of the heap and then put it in the correct value, in the correct spot. And then you also have remove max. So this would remove the root node of the heap. So it's always the root node. And then it will rearrange the other values to put in the correct order. And then movie rating.java is also given to you. So you have get votes, get rating, and get title. So you can use these functions to do the comparison and see if you want to add that movie into your heap. And then this is the part that's already given to you. This goes through each line of the ratings.tsv file, and it's going to create an object movie rating for each movie in the ratings.tsv file. So does everyone understand what all the starter code is doing? Great. Does anyone not understand? Okay, so basically the gist of it is we have this while loop and we just need to make like one loop ourselves that's gonna create this heap. And then after we create our heap, what do we do at the end? We just need to print the maximum values. So we have two things, a max heap or a min heap. So let me just get the writing thing up. So there's two types of heaps, a max heap and then a min heap. Does anybody know what a max heap is? Um, yeah, so basically we have to use one of the two heaps, a max heap or a min heap, and add the movies to the heap, and then print out the highest rated ones. So we're gonna go over how we can do with the max heap and how we can do it. So a max heap, that means that the root node is always the maximum. And a min heap, the root node is the minimum. So for example, you could have 25 here, and then they each have 2 children. So let's say we have 25 as the highest rated number, and then we would have, they could have children, so this could be 17, 13, 10, 8, 4, and 12. So this is an example of what a max heap would look like. It has the highest number in the root node, and then all below that is smaller numbers. So the children always have to be smaller than the parent. And then a min heap would be the same thing, but in reverse. So the smallest number would go in the top, and then all the children would have to be greater. So this is just an example of like what a max heap and a min heap could look like. So does anyone have any ideas if we were going to use a max heap with the problem that we have? How would we use a max heap to get the top K values? So if we have 50,000 and 8 as our input, so that means we have to check if the votes are greater than this. And then the 8, we need the top 8 movies. How could we do that using a max heap? Ideas? So if we keep inserting into a max heap every movie that has greater than 50,000, then we can use our remove max. we can use the remove max method 8 times. So this way would take us that we would have to insert every movie where the votes was greater than 50,000. So after we inserted all of the movies, and we can do remove max. So remove max would get rid of this, and we can get rid of that 8 times, and then we would have our 8. So that seems simple enough, but the problem with doing it this way is you'd have so many insertions, so it would take a really long time, depending on what the input was. So for example, if we're doing with the ratings and we have 10, we already are adding to our heap. So if this is our current max heap, and these numbers represent the ratings. Now we keep going through our list and we get to another one that has the minimum number of votes, and it has a rating of 9.4. So how an insertion works with the heap is that it's going to go to the next open node, the next open leaf. So this is the next open leaf, and then it's going to sift up to go to the correct location. So it will check, is this greater than the parent? And if it is, then you have to swap the two. So in this case, 9.4 is greater than 9.2. So we have to swap the 9.2 with the 9.4. And then you can check again, is 9.4 greater than 9.7? No. So then you don't have to switch them. So now if we do another one, 9.8. If we insert that into our heap, that's going to go here at the next open leaf. So now, if we check with the parent node, should we switch 9.4 and 9.8? Yes, anybody else? Yeah, exactly. So since 9.8 is greater than 9.4, you switch them. And then we're checking with the parent node again. So we check 9.8 and 9.7. And then 9.8 is greater than 9.7, so we switch these two. So that's how a max heap works. So that's what an insertion does. Now what if we have remove max? So if we call remove max, which is already a method given to you, it's going to get rid of the root node. And then after it gets rid of the root node, it's going to rearrange the heap and it'll end up being like 9.8 will be the new max. And the 10 will go away. So if we did this using the problem we have, we can insert all the movies that are greater than that has at least the minimum number of votes, and then do remove max the number of times that M is. So M is the number of top rated movies. So the problem with this is that it could take a lot of time. I think some people did do it this way, and it's fine, but don't get the correct answer on Vocarium because you have the right movies, but the order is incorrect, a lot of people were saying. So apparently he said that that's fine and he'll give you the credit. You might have to email him. So if you have all the correct movies with the correct ratings and everything, but the order is different, then I believe he said to a student that you would still get the credit. Um, if that's the case, then you should email him personally about that. So that's what if you use a max heap. So then a min heap is the opposite, right? Anyone have any ideas how we can use a min heap to get the highest rated movies? It's more complicated. Okay. So what we're gonna do is, yeah, exactly, make the numbers negative. So we have the max heap code already given to us. So if you want to use a min heap, you have two options. One is to create a min heap class, and the second one is to make the ratings negative. So if you make the ratings negative, you can make it work like a min heap and then just undo the negative later. So we have the number of votes, let's say, and then the rating is 7.5, and then the movie. So when you insert it into the heap, if you insert it as a negative number, right? So let's take all these numbers we had from before. So 10, 9.8, 9.3, 9.7. So I'm just going to do the parts we had the first time. So let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So here we have 7 movies. Ratings. Let's say we want the top 7 rated movies. So if we make all of the ratings negative and we insert it into a max heap, well, what will be in our root node? So the root node is the maximum number, right? So out of all these negative numbers, which would be the maximum negative number? What's the greatest number? Yep. So negative 8.6 is the greatest number, but it's the lowest rating. So that's how we're going to use it to get us as a min heap, is because even though this is the greatest number, it's the lowest rated movie. So if we're going through our file, we can keep adding to our heap the negative numbers. So we'd have the negative 9, the negative 9.1, the negative 9.3. I'm missing something. So now if this is our heap, we add it to our heap until the heap size is equal to n. So we had said before, if we had an input where it was 7, we wanted the 7 highest rated movies. So what do we keep doing? We have all these, we go through the list and the text file or the TSV file. And every time that it's greater than the number of votes, we're going to insert into our heap. So now we have this heap here. where this top node is the minimum. So as we continue going through the file and we come across another value that has the correct amount of votes and it has a rating of 9.0. So now we say, okay, look, the rating of 9.0, that's greater than the minimum. Or the rating of negative 9 is less than negative 8.6. So we want to keep our heap to have all the highest rated movies. So what do? We check which one is greater. And if this rating is greater than this rating, or if this number is less than the root node, we can insert the negative 9 into our heap and remove the negative 8.6. So the negative 9 would go here, and it would get sifted to the correct spot. So now let's say we have negative 7.6 as our next rating. Should we insert it into our heap? Yeah, exactly. No, you shouldn't insert it into the heap. Yeah, because these are all, we want our heap to include all the highest rated movies. So if we see a 7.6 and we look, this is the minimum rating of our max ratings. This is the minimum of our max rating. So we don't need to add the negative 7.6. So then if we have negative 9.3, well, we say, okay, this, we would switch them. So this goes away, and this becomes negative 9.3. And then your function, when you insert into your heap, it automatically does a sift down method. So it's going to do the same thing we were doing before, where it says, okay, negative 9.3 should be switched with negative 9 or negative 9.1. So the greatest value always has to be in the root node. So these two are going to switch. So now this becomes our max again. And the negative 9.3 goes here. And then we check, do these two need to switch? No, it doesn't. So this part is already automatically done for you. The sift down and the sift up, that's already done when you insert and when you remove. So what do is we insert into the heap until the heap size is equal to m. And after we get to m, we only insert and remove the max. And remember, removing the max is removing the max number, but the minimum rating. So we only insert or remove the max when we have a higher rated movie. So if we keep doing this and we do it with negative 8, okay, we say we're going to skip that. We do it with negative 10, we're going to remove the minimum or the maximum, and then do the same thing, sift down. By the time you get to the end of your the ratings.tsv file, this will include only the highest rated movies. So now if we want to print them, all we have to do is our remove max will give us the root node. But the only thing is you have to print it in the opposite order, because remove max would print the negative, if this is back to negative 9, it would print this, and then this. So you need to print the array in reverse, so to get the correct order. And yeah, that's it. So I'll try to explain it more, but before that, does anybody have any questions? Oh, and also when you print it, you have to get rid of the negative signs again. So when you print it, you have to multiply the ratings by -1 so that it doesn't print with the negative symbol. Oh yeah, okay. So M is the number of top movies you want. So if you have the input of 50,008, then this is M. So we want to say we want the top 8 highest rated movies. Okay. Okay, so yeah, this is the algorithm. Insert it into the heap until the heap is size M. And then the last thing, does anyone know how to make the ratings negative when you add it into the heap?